What's up, guys? TheDevildogGamer here, and you probably noticed that I haven't been uploading videos in the past few days. And there's a reason for that, and I figured we'd talk about it a little bit because it does kind of affect me for the rest of my life, and it's kind of a general warning to everyone else, you know, take things seriously. So I've been in and out of three hospital visits since Halloween, and been diagnosed with a ton of shit. And some pretty scary moments, and I figured to talk about it, keep you guys updated, because health's important, and you really can't afford to just ignore symptoms and shit like that. So I'm gonna kind of tell you about this craziness that's been happening the past few days, and what's been going on. So Halloween, I'm on the way. Me and the missus are on the way to pick up the little one to go trick or treating. And as I'm driving, my whole body just goes completely numb. Just completely numb. I'm getting faint. I have to pull over. And of course, the missus has a broken leg, so she can't drive. She's just like sprawled out in the back. And I just basically said, like, I need to get to a hospital. There's something majorly wrong right now. This is not normal whatsoever. Nothing normal about this. So I drive myself to the hospital, get in, and as I'm talking to the doctor, I'm talking about just the numbness and everything, and I passed the fuck out. I just completely passed out. And from what everyone there, like the missus saw, I started seizing. Like the right side of my body started just seize pretty hardcore. And they were able to bring me back, wake me up and get me out of my, unconscious state. But for half an hour after that, I don't remember shit. So they admitted me to the hospital, and unfortunately the next night, I was in there for 2 days. The next night, I had another seizure, but I was able to catch it in time, so they gave me that Ativan or whatever and just popped me out of it right away. And I was just feeling like shit, numb. My right side would get numb. I would just get really dizzy, and so I went through that for 2 days and was discharged probably about 2 o'clock. Had to follow up with a neurologist. They gave me a bunch of anti-seizure medication and shit like that, and that was basically now I got seizures. They gave me a bunch of tests and stuff, like this thing where they put probes on. They don't know if it's epilepsy or not. If it's epilepsy, it's gonna fucking suck, because I play fucking video games for a living, you know what I mean? So it's like okay, everything has a fucking epilepsy warning. So I fucking go home, right? Go home, it's been, everybody's been hanging out at the hospital with me. I've been there for fucking 2 days. Get home, and probably like an hour after I get home, I get this massive headache, just crazy headache. And then it just instantly disappears. And then the right side of my face goes numb. And then followed by my right arm, and my right chest, and then my right leg. So my entire right half of my body is just completely numb. Like I just slept on it wrong, like just dead. And for those of you who know that symptom, that's like a big symptom for a stroke. A huge symptom for a stroke. And I had a choice. Like, do I go back to the hospital again right after I just fucking left? Or do I ignore it? Like, you don't have that time to... Like, a stroke is something you really don't fuck around with, especially the symptoms. Like, that's a serious fucking shit. So me and the missus just talked it over, and we said, look, we just got out, but this is scary shit. Like, we cannot fuck around with this. So I called 911, and the paramedics came pick me up, took me to a different hospital, literally 2 hours after being discharged from one. So get to this hospital. As soon as I get in, I tell them my symptoms. They look at me, and all of a sudden, over the intercom, they're calling stroke alert, and they wheel me into the CT room. And once they get me to the CT room, there's like 10 people in there. They're like taking x-rays, prepping me for a CT, drawing blood from both fucking arms. And literally within 5 minutes, I have like every test done right away. And they wheel me into another room, to the trauma room. And, they talk to me, they say, listen, you're not having a stroke, but these symptoms are worrisome. Like, they're definitely something to worry about. But the thing was, when I had my seizures, they ran like MRIs, CTs, echocardiograms, where they do the Doppler on your heart and shit like that. And everything was fine. Like, there was nothing to really worry about, and they looked at those records, and they're like, you just got out. this is weird. You're too young for this. I'm only 30. They wanted to keep me for observation. I was like, listen, if we ran every test yesterday, you ran these tests today, and I'm not dying, I'm not having a stroke, I'm going home. Like, I signed myself out because they just want to keep me for observation, and honestly, I was just like, I'm done, I'm going home. So I went home after spending another day in the hospital, at a different fucking hospital, and so I get home, me and the missus, you know, get everything kind of back to normal. I started going, and on top of this, my daughter has a fucking fever, like the flu, and is like puking everywhere. So we have like me, you know, in the hospital, the missus with a broken leg, and our daughter's like throwing up everywhere. So it's just like fucking chaos, dude. Absolute fucking chaos. So I get home, we go to bed at around 10, and at 1 a.m. I wake up in like severe chest pain. It's like chest pain, my right arm's just completely numb. I feel like garbage. Like I am just fucking hurt bad. And I kept waking up the missus, and I was like, I don't feel good. My chest is killing me. Like, you know, my arm's numb. What do you want to do? Like, you know, and again, we decided, fuck, here we go. We're going to the hospital again. Fucking same hospital I was, not the one I went at for when I thought I was having a stroke, but the one that I was at for when I had my seizures. So we go in, and of course they all are like, what the fuck, dude, you just left. And I tell them the symptoms, and they're like, all right, so this is like 2 o'clock in the morning. And so they're like, it sounds like you're having a fucking heart attack. But like, we've ran all these tests yesterday, and you seem fine. So they ran this heart enzyme test, where basically they drew blood every 3 hours to see if like there was a certain enzyme that the heart would, you know, that the heart secretes when there's damage to it, because they ran an EKG, everything's fine. But I was like really in some pain. Like my head was killing me, my chest was killing me. I was just basically laying down, like not even able to respond. I ended up passing out again because the pain was so bad, and throwing up all over the place. And the doctors are like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Like they were freaking out. So they're running all these glucose, they admit me again, so I'm back up in the bed. And luckily I know some people at that hospital, including the nurse, the head nurse on that floor. And we're all talking, and they'd come in, and they were just really, you know, awesome about coming in, constantly talking to me about like, what the fuck could this be? And you know, they said, we've ran every test, and you might have like be having a major anxiety attack, like a massive panic attack. And because when you have anxiety, they mimic like heart attacks, strokes, like pretty much all the scary shit is what an anxiety attack can mimic. So my new doctor came in, and she walked in, and she says, everything's fine. You are healthy as a horse. Your heart's good. You know, your brain's good. Your blood's good. Like everything we've tested is good. She's like, but I'm gonna tell you something. I've been dealing with anxiety for 15 years, and walking in this room and just talking to you for 2 seconds, you're giving me anxiety because that's how anxious you are. And she's like, you really are having a massive anxiety panic attack, like you, and it is pushing you to the point where you feel like you're fucking dying, and it's mimicking all these scary shit. And that's basically what happened. I was having a massive panic attack. The seizure kind of just set me on this new anxiety problem that I have all of a sudden, and brought it on, and which caused my body to basically just completely freak the fuck out. And you know, basically just, you know, mimic heart attacks. And that's what anxiety does. It mimics all this fucking crazy shit. And my big issue with it was, and I kept asking her, I was like, you know, if it mimics a heart attack and a stroke, how the fuck do I know when I'm actually having a heart attack or a stroke? And she said, listen, like, you're going to have a long road of dealing with this anxiety. And she says, with all the tests we've done, you have exactly 1 year of perfect health. There's nothing that's going to change within a year with all these tests we've done, with your heart, you know, your brain, any of that stuff. So she says, you have a year to figure out what's the anxiety feeling and what's not. So what they ended up doing is first of all, they prescribed me Xanax for when I'm having these major, like my chest is just killing me. I feel like an elephant stepping on me. I would take the Xanax, and that just should pop me right out of it. But Xanax is kind of a fucking shitty thing, and my grandmother actually got dependent on Xanax, so I kind of don't want to take it a lot. But they also put me on Lexapro, which kind of balances, is just one of those medicines that balances you out. But the only problem is you can't stop at cold turkey, or it makes you super fucking sick, like really bad sick. And it takes about a month for your doses to get kind of evened out before you're kind of back to where you need to be. So I could be like super all over the place for a month. Like I could be fucking, aggressive, fucking angry, depressive, manic, just for a month until they get these doses set up. And that's a scary fucking thing, but we'll get back to the anxiety. So I get home from the fucking hospital, again, after getting diagnosed with anxiety. I'm still having an anxiety attack. I'm still, chest is tight, my right arm's numb. I'm like, all right, I gotta kind of deal with this. And my fucking voice is killing me from talking to doctors left and fucking right. So I get home. Of course, the missus has a broken leg. She's got a broken foot and a broken leg. And she's been nonstop in the hospital, crutching around, trying to go back and forth. So we get home, and I'm just starting to settle in, and she's like, baby, come look at my foot. And she took her boot off, and her toes are purple. Her foot's all just completely swollen and just red as shit. And that's only a sign of, like, no circulation. So there's got to be, like, a blood clot or something going on. So here we are, just got back from the hospital, my third fucking hospital visit in, like, 3 fucking days, and we're going back again. We're going back to the hospital. This time it's not me. And on top of this, I'm going back to the hospital while I'm having an anxiety attack with my first time taking my medication, which is just sending me all over the fucking place. Like, dude, I am like, 1 second I'm like up, like, let's fucking do this shit. And the next second I'm like, dude, I just need to lay down and sleep. I don't feel good. I want to sleep. So we're going back to the hospital, checking her out for blood clots. Kind of a scary thing with blood clots, especially, with a limb, because you could lose that limb. You really could. And, dude, we've had the week from fucking hell with this. So they ended up scanning her, checking her out. She's good. She was just on it too much, and she's got to go back on bed rest. So, honestly, I cannot wait to see my medical bills, because I'm sure it's going to be like $50,000. No joke. Like, I have good insurance, but, dude, I'm going to be fucking broke from this. It's just insane. But the anxiety thing, like, and it's the thing is, like, when it first hit, I second-guessed myself. Like, when I started feeling the right side of my body going numb, like, I'm too young to have a stroke. This can't be a stroke. But at the same time, when you have a stroke, time is of the essence. The faster you get it identified, the better chance you have of basically not having any lasting fucking damage. And that's one of those things. Do you go? Do you not go? And honestly, I gotta tell you, you only live once. If anything that seems fucking off, you need to go to the doctor. It doesn't fucking matter what the fuck happens. Like how much money it costs, how much it inconveniences you gotta go to the doctor, man. Like, cause this shit gets fucking serious, and it can get serious really quick. I got lucky, even though anxiety is kind of a really fucking shitty thing I gotta deal with now, and, I would rather not be dealing with anxiety. It could have been worse. I could have had a stroke. I could have had a heart attack. Not saying that anxiety ain't as, not as bad as those things, because it is. Anxiety is fucking shitty, and it's debilitating, and it's, I'm sure a lot of you guys have had anxiety and panic attacks and know what I'm talking about, but, this isn't something to joke around with or, take lightly at all. But at the same time, it could have been so much fucking worse. And as shitty as this was, and as much money as it's going to cost me, it was better to go and know than not know. And at the same time, while anxiety may have been like, you probably have an anxiety attack, the doctors at ERs have to rule out the most serious shit first, and then work their way to the serious stuff. And that's what it was. So it's like, I don't blame the doctors, and I knew it was gonna, it was probably gonna take a while to figure it out, but at the same time, I'm glad we figured out what it is. And for the next couple of months, I might be all over the place. Like, I might be on streams like super fucking mean, where just like really depressed, not wanting to talk, and it's not, and that's what worries me. I want you guys to understand, I gotta get rebalanced here. Like my shit's got to get fixed. So I might be all over the place, but at the end of the day, I'm still alive, not dead. It sucks because I still have chest pains, and my right arm just does not stop being fucking numb at all, and it's just annoying as shit. But you know, I'm glad for those who stuck with me, all the well wishes, prayers on Twitter. It was really awesome to see everybody's support, and you know, some of the funny jokes I saw about, you know, getting a premium membership at my fucking hospital and stuff like that. But you know, I really appreciate your support, you guys sticking around, and we're gonna get back to normal here. I know I missed a few streams. I might try to stream today if I feel all right, and if the missus feels all right, because I gotta get her back on track. But we're gonna get back to it. We're gonna get back to the videos. You know, lots of stuff coming out, lots of good games, and you know, I appreciate all that you guys' support and prayers and everything. It was a rough road, but I'm glad it's over with, and you know, just ready to start getting back into the groove and, you know, and fixing this basically. But anyways, boys, I'll talk to you later. Peace.